What's up, everybody? Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm a girl with a horse tattoo, and I'm so excited to introduce you to the second episode of LOT, Life After Travel, where we talk about living abroad and transitioning either back into the U.S. or staying abroad, and what's it like transitioning during the global pandemic. I feel like she is my twin, my sister from another mother. Please help me introduce Cami, all the way from South Korea. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello.
Okay, so we're gonna get right into it. So there's been a lot going on ever since May. We have our global pandemic. We have our, social injustice uproar on the streets. And we also have just the presidency stressed a lot of people out. And I noticed that you took to TikTok during these stressful times and you really were able to express yourself. What sparked your journey to express yourself so heavily and so beautifully on TikTok this 2020 year?
When I started TikTok, it was more so to cope with being Black, specifically in South Korea. A lot of annoyances that I feel like Black people kind of go through here. And during this time, I had lost a lot of friends. And so TikTok was my means to community. So after watching a ton of videos where I see, young kids speaking up about social justice stuff, I'm like, I can do this. So one day it was like a Saturday, I was just bored. And I made the most ghetto TikTok ever. It was so bad. It ended up having the most views that I've ever had, over 20,000 views.
Insane.
I was just like, wow, okay, people feel me on this. People feel exactly the same. And then on top of that, I had South Koreans that, were saying, oh, we're so sorry that happened. So it's like, wow, not only do I have a sense of other people know where I'm coming from, but also some people who are sympathetic to what Black people kind of go through here. So that felt good, and that's what kind of made me continue making those videos.
Wow. And you know what? I noticed that these problems have been tell times 400 years of slavery and then civil rights movement, and it's been always where Black people are fighting for inequality and just a seat at the table pretty much. But I feel like during this time that the quarantine happened, there were a lot of people that were restless in their homes. And I noticed that they didn't have nothing else to do to keep them occupied, so they became a more absorbing listening ear. And it's not that we hadn't already been screaming and preaching and making our voices heard. It's just that the people that we were talking to finally started to listen because they had nothing else to do. People that have our skin color, and then also other ethnicities really related to you. Just to segue to another question, what are you doing in Korea? Are you there for just cultural, learning the language? Why Korea?
I came for a check. I did it for a check. We were together in Thailand. Yeah. And then after I left Thailand, I went back to the States for 2 months, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. And so I was just looking which place paid the most, offers the most benefit, and Korea looked nice, so that was it.
Why did you choose the teaching platform?
Yeah, I majored teaching English as a foreign language specifically. So I think since I was maybe 14, I knew I wanted to live overseas. I just didn't know how to get there. I thought I was going to be a clinical pathologist, which is I sit around and look at cells all day. But then when I got to university, I realized I'm terrible at math and I could never. But I was a great writer and I was interested in reading. And so just cosmically, I got connected to who would be my program leader, kind of like my mentor. And she's the one who suggested teaching English abroad.
Wow, that's crazy. You're originally from Washington, D.C.?
Well, originally from Brooklyn, but I grew up in Atlanta.
Okay. When they referred you to come teach abroad, was it just Was it like instant, or did you have to think about it, or what was that process like?
No, I was like, yeah, I know I want to live abroad. The only thing I was apprehensive about was the teaching English part, because I remember going through high school, thinking about what career I wanted. I was like, I would never teach. I hate children. That's how I felt.
That's so crazy. I felt that way when it came to dance, because I was just like, I don't want to be a dance teacher. I just want to dance. I want it to be about me. Like, I don't want to like waste time, or at least I want to experience life before I become a teacher, I see you going to new places and finding cafes and having friends, and I see you making it happen. And I know it's not all perfect, so how do you do it?
It wouldn't be fair to say that it's not a part of my personality, because some people are just not as social, and that's okay. So I feel like I've always been a social butterfly, even though I feel like I'm not. Everyone who I'm around says I am, so I guess I should believe that. So yeah, I'm a social butterfly. I like just meeting people. And then I've always been like someone interested in looking at new places. Like even when I lived in Georgia, like in order to feel happy, I was like, I need to go to this new place. I need to drive here. I need to do this. I need to do that. So honestly, it's just what makes me happy. So that's what drives me to explore. And then being a social butterfly, that's just who I am.
It's like you want to seize the moment, and you want to water, like, those possible seeds that come into your life, and you want to see if there's like a flower that might grow from that. Was your first moment abroad, was that in Tanzania?
China was my first time abroad.
So you went from China to Thailand to Korea.
China to Tanzania to Thailand to Korea.
Wow. So this question just got a little bit more beautiful. Why is it important to embrace diversity?
It's important to embrace diversity because like it creates this community of peace. To answer like the first question you were on, like how has traveling impacted my worldview, I feel like I care more about communal peace right now. And to care about communal peace, I need to care about human rights, right? Before I moved abroad, I was very conservative to the point where I pushed my conservativeness on other folks. Like I would say outlandish things about the LGBTQ community. I would say just outlandish things even about Black people. Like, woo! I was so in the sunken place. But yeah, I would say some terrible things. So I think moving abroad, and like especially Thailand, that's why I feel like everything changed, because like Thailand, it's a huge place for the queer community, especially for trans people. And I was like meeting all these really kind trans people, and I was just like, I cannot believe like I would say the things that I said about them. So moving abroad, I just feel like I care more about people's peace. Just don't disturb people's peace. If it's not harming the collective, just leave them alone. Yeah.
That's so beautiful how you worded that, because it's like within our fight for, holding police accountable and, pretty much taking their power away, taking their funds away, because what are they doing with it? They're killing us in the street. Like
they're disturbing peace.
They're disturbing
even when the Black community is doing nothing, them circling around those Black communities, those poor Black communities, you're disturbing peace.
I work in a very affluent area. I can't find one cop on the street, but you go to the hood and they everywhere lurking. It's like they're wanting something to happen. But I digress. That's not what I was going to ask you. When you were growing up in Atlanta, like, did you notice diversity in your classroom? How have your perspective to fight for, people that don't look like us, people that look like us, how has that changed and evolved?
So again, I was in the sunken place. So when my parents first left from New York to Atlanta, we lived North Atlanta, where I was a minority, but for some reason my closest friend was an Indian and a Mexican. I was like, oh, so diverse. Even though we were minorities, I was like, at least my friends are diverse. So then when we moved further down in Atlanta to the Black metropolitan area, I was sad because yes, there were more people that looked like me, but there wasn't the diversity that I was used to I didn't find an Hispanic person. I didn't find an Asian person. Yeah, for some reason that bothered me. But then at the same time, because my family was very Jamaican, I don't know why Caribbeans do this thing, but we separate ourselves from Black Americans, you know? So I never felt like I fit in. Like my friends at that school, my closest friends were also Caribbean Americans. It's weird. I didn't own my Blackness until I moved over.
Yeah, I feel like there's a time and there's a place. I feel like if you've only been like where you are the majority, then you need to it's imperative that you experience what it feels like to be a minority, so you can empathize and you can understand where they're coming from. I love being around people. I love being around Black people. I love being around, diverse people. There's like a awakening. Like you don't have to explain yourself. There's like a non-verbal communication of understanding when you're around your people. But just being abroad, you're the platform, right? You're the representation. I feel like in my experience in Thailand and in Korea, I felt like a lot of times I was representing a whole entire race.
Yeah, no, that's true.
When it came to like, how is my character? How is my integrity? Am I trustworthy? I feel like I was representing my race. But being to all of those places, I was saying this in one of my other interviews, that thinking about other races and their peace, that becomes a part of your narrative. That becomes a part of your conscience. You walk into a room and you sit for analogy, you sit in a boardroom and everybody looks like you. You're like, wait, where are the Asians? Where is the diversity? Where are the Thai people? Where are the African people? Where is the people? Like you only accept that you have a standard of what you accept, and it becomes a part of your verbiage, how you speak. Like, do your words cause harm to another race, or are your words uplifting? And all of that is not something you can learn in a textbook. It's not something that you can learn by words. It's something you experience by knowing those people and being exposed to their culture and their languages. And I know from the two countries that I talked to you about, Korea and Thailand, you picked up on their language. You picked up on, their customs, and you picked up on their respect to their way of life. And you just didn't come in as a tourist, And I feel like that's so important. So my question is, do you find it difficult to have conversations with people that don't have that kind of experience, don't have that kind of world travel insight?
Yeah, I do. I find it difficult to communicate to South Koreans who have never left South Korea, people from the United States who have never left the United States. Your worldview and like how you see others, it's really skewed if you haven't left your place of upbringing.
My sister, her husband, he is from Cameroon, and going over their house to visit, I feel like I have an advantage. I haven't visited Cameroon, but I've left my comfort zone, and I know how he's feeling being out of his comfort zone. So I put him on an even playing field as a listener, as an observer, and how I navigate through his space. I feel like I only know how to be that way from leaving my home. Can you think of an example where your traveling has aided you, has gave you an advantage in a conversation, in a transaction?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because this means a lot to me. So, not that I've had conversations with people face to face, but just online with folks. When I lived in Thailand and I worked closely with Filipinos, like that, your story at the beginning reminded me of my Filipino friends in Thailand. They are the most dedicated, hardworking, educated people. And it's disgusting that they do not get the same benefits as native English speakers or whatever. They know the English language better than most of us teachers abroad.
My school, Santri Samut Prakan, Yeah, I'm calling you out. You you do not hire Filipino teachers, and that is in your contract. You do not hire Filipino teachers. They must be native speakers, and they must be from certain countries. I know Korea has like their little golden 5 or something, golden 7 that they pick from. But Thailand, this particular school, did not hire Filipinos. But the Filipino lady had been working with the school for maybe 10 years as a substitute teacher, because they would allow her to be a substitute. And you don't get no benefits as a substitute. You don't get no full salary as no substitute. And you're on call constantly. Okay? How can you plan a life on call like that? And that was one of my experiences. And then I had my close friend, April, she told me about her experience trying to come to Korea. And then also my mom's nurse is Filipino, and I can actually, like 3 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to talk to her about, some of these issues. But every time I talk to my mom, I can talk to her about the things that are happening in the Philippines, how difficult it is for them to travel and get jobs and stuff, because my eyes have seen. So that is a real good.
Yeah. And so we can like actively advocate for them in our workspaces, because now we see the unfairness. But if we hadn't, we would have just been living our happily, United States privilege, thinking we're doing something.
What do you feel like now as a world traveler I feel like you answered this, that you didn't know before? I feel like you kind of touched on this a little bit with your conservatism.
Conservatism. That is the word, conservatism.
You touched on your conservatism, and you talked about, your respect for the LGBT plus community kind of really grew and evolved in Thailand, seeing how their characters, how they're just people at the end of the freaking day. But is there anything else you want to add to that question?
I'm glad you said that. I've also learned on the negative side that people suck.
Elaborate.
I feel like 2020 specifically has brought everything to a head. The way that people can just not like someone, distrust someone because of their color, because of their nationality, because of their sexual preference, because of their gender. Like, I literally, when I tell you I was such a naive unicorn Aquarius, not really, because Aquarius is supposed to be humanitarian. Yeah, I was just like so naive. I literally thought the world was better than it was. And I feel like this year, especially abroad and looking at everything that's happening everywhere else in the world, I was just like, wow, the world is really trash. And that makes me sad.
I feel like I'm recyclable.
Yes. I'm redeemable. I'm trying to humble myself.
I have to realize, as a 27-year-old, I've only spent 3 years abroad. So I have to, now that I'm back in America, I have to combat that majority number that was ignorant and not aware and oblivious to, people's struggles and stuff, people's time zones.
Right? Time zones.
Exactly. I was oblivious to people's time zones before I started struggling. Just what it's like being a Thai person under dictatorship. Like, I was oblivious to like giving all your money to a king. Like, I was only like individualistic before I started. Very American, very self-absorbed. And I still desire, I feel like once you're a traveler, you're always a traveler. Do you ever find yourself feeling like you're gonna come back to America, or are you gonna stay abroad? Or what is life looking like for you in the next 2 years when it comes to traveling?
God willing, I do not have to go back to America. I'm so serious. I mean it. What did I say? Age 15? 13? I can't remember. In my teens, 14, I knew I wanted to live overseas. I knew it. I was just figuring out how can I
know it. Like, what did that feel like? What did you see? What did you smell? What did you write? What did you journal? What was that like, 14?
Okay. I think it was a multiple of things. My mother worked at the airport. We would, go to the airport together to like go to Jamaica to visit my family. And just being in the airport, I was like, wow, it's so cool. Everyone's going somewhere. Like, that was cool to me. I loved that. And I guess what got me thinking, okay, how can I go overseas and offer something to people? It sounds silly, but I watched Save the Children infomercial. I know that's so cheesy, but like, I watched it and I just felt like something. And I was like, I gotta go overseas. I gotta offer the locals something, not just bring my happy tail there. Like, I wanted to live.
To counter that, I used to see those commercials where like the African babies, they would have like the
yeah. I know they're bad now. I know they're stupid now. Definitely.
Yeah, that's like propaganda, or like corporations, like white people, like be like taking money for those babies and all. But I remember my sister when she went to college at California Baptist University. She adopted a child somewhere in Africa, you know, and she would send them. And eventually she had a goal to meet that child. I would be thinking like, this is pre-traveling. I'm like, why is she sending her money over there? Why she ain't sending her money to me? I need stuff. I need a new backpack. I want to, you know, go to the museum. Like, why she not, you know, taking care of her little sister? Why she worried about some other kid in Africa? That was my mindset.
I mean, which is human. It's understandable.
But it's also like, whatever needs you have, it's like somebody out there has a greater need, you know, or a greater struggle. It's not to minimalize or downplay what you're going through or what you need. It's just to have this open awareness, this conscious, that thinking about others can provide solutions and comfort for you. Like just the other day, like I wasn't feeling too keen on doing anything. I walked in the house and I gave my mom a foot massage, and giving her a foot massage made me feel better. What the hell? Like, why are we programmed like that? Like, once you tap into like doing things for others and thinking about others, it minimalizes your struggle and your pain and what you're going through. Can you relate to that in any capacity?
That's true. These days, I'm trying to do less things for people, though.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's seasons. Like, you go through, it's like, it's a time for that, and a time to also be like, okay, how can I focus on me? Because truly, when you focus on yourself and you become a whole human being, that's when you have, you know, abundance to give to others. You know, that's where you are not depleted and you feel joy, you know. But if you don't have anything, I can see how it's just like you need to have that season, that chapter in your life where you're like, okay, let me make myself a better person so my surroundings can be elevated and brought to the next level. But let's talk about something fun.
This is fun. I love talking about this stuff. But okay.
Let's talk about something lighter. Do you enjoy dating abroad? Is it more of a struggle trying to interact and date with foreigners, or is it?
Girl, you watch my stories, you know.
This is for the channel. This is for the life. This is for the life of the travel.
Let me tell you. Let me lean in. Dating is ghetto. It's just ghetto. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't.
I've been spoken. I feel like when I was in Korea, like I would get the most weirdest messages, and like they really taught me how, like, some new terms. I was like, all these little acronyms that they be shooting out, but like I had to go to Google and be like, what does this mean? What does this mean? I'm like, because these guys have a whole trash language that they just circulate. I feel like when I was in Thailand, like, I feel like you really could find somebody nice in Thailand, like with the dating apps. Like,
I wasn't even like looking at boys. For some reason, I was not concerned about boys in Thailand. I was just friends.
You were in your element, yeah. I feel like there was nothing to do in my little small town of Wonju. I was like, I'm bored. I'm really bored. So that's when I was like really giving it a lot of energy, and I was like, I should have been giving it this energy in Thailand, because the guys were actually decent. Like the guys that I met in Thailand, like it wasn't just a lot of guys, but it's two guys in particular on Tinder, and one of the guys, he still like check on me like every week or so. I'm like, how's it going? How's the family? How's your mom?
Something Thai or also a foreigner?
I mean, he's a foreigner, but you know, he's Nigerian, and then the other guy was Indian. Yeah, the Indian guy was real sweet. I lost his number. I was sad about that. I have no way to give it. But do you feel like you could possibly meet somebody? Are you hopeful for that?
I've given up hope after 2 years of like trying, like, and the same narrative keeps playing, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm exhausted. It's not even worth it. I feel like I'm not going to be in Korea for much longer, so I'm not even going to put energy into thinking that I'll find a good person. Sorry.
I feel that. I am subconsciously working on finding somebody by working on finding me. And finding me through every avenue, whether that is art, culture, life, job. Like, I just want to thrive in everything because I want to give out like this aura, this just energy that, you know, that I don't need you, but if it so happens, let's see if I can put you on my schedule and let's go.
Yes.
Let me out and look at me glowing.
Yes.
As I glow. That's where.
But you know what happens? I'll be in those seasons where I feel like, oh, I'm feeling so good. And then I meet someone and then they give me feeling. I reciprocate. Ghost. Ghosting is like every man's favorite thing to do in Korea. Be it foreigner or Korean, they love to ghost. And so that's what happens.
That's
it's like I'll be in the season where I own myself and then someone's like, ooh, let me destroy it.
Yeah, so you have to find somebody that's attracted to that because for good reasons, good intentions.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, I didn't even think about like me glowing and somebody trying to dim my light. I didn't even think about it from that perspective.
Every single time I will glow, what? And yeah, I pick up flies. Apparently, flies.
Honey, like sticky honey. That's crazy, yo. So I had to think about that. I mean, like my sister always tell me, guard your heart, guard your heart, guard your heart. Because like once I feel like
you're glowing doesn't mean you're attracting butterflies. Some of them are just flies.
Yeah, we gonna shine regardless. And like that's all my questions for you. I'm so glad that we did this because I feel really passionate about this, and I just really just want to talk to all the people that I've met abroad and talk to them about life and just really just connect on that platform because I'm not traveling right now and I love to travel, but I can live, you know, virtually vicariously through you, you know. I know it's not always, you know, rainbows, but it's great. Like it's so great to just feel so free. I don't really think you can obtain that when people know you in your country and people, when people have a certain expectation of you, people have a plan for your life. And I feel like even if it's me doing it to me, I feel like I do it in America and I don't do it abroad. So I miss that. And I feel like I can achieve it. I definitely love my new job. I can definitely achieve it, but it's just gonna take some time because, you know, it's like not the same. But thank you so much for being here. Please, guys, follow her. Her Instagram, dope. Okay, if you are feeling bland and uninspired, go to her. Technical difficulties. Oh no! Look at that. The universe is like, girl, humble yourself. Okay, so if you are feeling bland, go to her Instagram. It's so inspirational. Her Instagram story keeps your mind stimulated. She always has like relative topics that she talk about, whether it's things that are happening in America, things that are happening in Korea, things that are happening in Thailand. She's always, you know, shedding light on the world. Like when she talks about world peace, she really means world peace. And also like just dope pictures, dope dance videos. Like her page is liberation, okay? Like she is a free butterfly, colorful, scenic, geographically and aesthetically pleasing. Okay, so go follow her now. What are you waiting for? Okay, and you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment, follow me on YouTube, A Girl with a Horse Tattoo, and watch the next video of Black. Thank you. Peace.